Along Myanmar's border with China, in this camp for the internally displaced, the stories are full of sorrow. As Sing Rao works, she contemplates the desperate choices she's been forced to make. How work dried up when the 17-year-old ceasefire between Myanmar government forces and the Kachin Independence Army broke down in 2011. How being unable to support her family led Sing Rao to a decision that still racks her with guilt.
My daughter was still young. I didn't want her to get married at first, but the Chinese family said they would take care of her well. My relatives, they agreed she should have a better life. So I made the decision for my daughter to marry a Chinese man.
The groom promised to pay almost $7,000 to Sing Rao, but ended up paying only around half of that. Sing Rao's daughter, who we're not identifying for her safety, eventually returned home.
My friends keep asking me how it was to marry and live in China. Was it fun? Were you happy? I told them it wasn't fun and that I'm not happy. I was very sad and disappointed to get married.
The escalation of hostilities in Kachin State has resulted in a huge increase in the number of displaced. Many people who used to cross into China to earn a living as day laborers can no longer do so. Seng Kam, who works with the Kachin Women's Association, says that makes the situation more dire for the internally displaced, and that a growing number of families are now forcing their daughters into marriage.
I think many of the parents want their daughters to marry a Chinese man because they thought they'll have a better life in China. They thought the Chinese government would take care of Chinese citizens very well.
For some, there is a darker side to finding a new life away from Kachin and out of Myanmar. According to Human Rights Watch, traffickers are increasingly preying on the despair of women who feel they have no choice but to seek work across the border. This woman, who we're also not identifying for her safety, was trafficked to China.
I've suffered and lived in terrible conditions. They were abusing me with sexual violence. I didn't want to sleep with them, but I was forced. I begged them to let me go, but he was not listening, and he raped me until I became pregnant.
Al Jazeera contacted China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs for comment, but has not received a reply. Human Rights Watch says another reason the situation is worsening is because, for every year since 1987, the percentage of women in China has fallen. A gender imbalance that is leaving many Chinese men without wives. For now, concern is growing that more traffickers will try to take advantage of the increasing desperation of people who are already vulnerable. Mohammed Jamjoom, Al Jazeera.